Hi, on July 13th, ex-President Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt while at a campaign rally near Butler, Pennsylvania. The official story is that a 20-year-old climbed up on a nearby roof with a semi-automatic rifle in broad daylight with police, Secret Service, and snipers around and shot multiple times at Donald Trump, with one bullet grazing Donald Trump's right ear, killing one from the audience in the background and wounding two more. The failed assassination attempt clearly further lifted Trump's popularity, who was already leading in the polls. The photos taken and Trump's heroic fist with bloody ear were mentioned many times on social media to make it in the history books and to get him elected. He now has nearly religious savior status, as he would end wars. As the police and Secret Service did not react to the many warnings from the public, there are two main theories about that day. That it was either an inside job by the Biden regime to eliminate Trump, or that it was a massive mess-up, in part due to incompetent Secret Service agents, for instance due to female agents not matching Trump in body size to protect him, or being in the service due to DEI and female quota. To me, that day contributed immense clarity, as I was waiting for someone to make a move. In Japanese sword fighting and martial arts in general, the moment of an attack, and I'm not talking about the lone assassin on the roof with his rifle here, always creates a short moment of weakness, a gap or opening in the attacker's defenses. One cannot attack without it. Often the first one attacking loses the fight. So while without anyone attacking no one will win, there's a price or trade-off to pay when attacking. By going ahead and conducting something so public and risky, this event opened up and exposed a flank. Again, I don't just mean the alleged assassination attempt, but also Trump in the spotlight, responding in one way or another, as well as the media coverage, interviews, photos, and video material, the responses or lack of responses, which all have meaning. So one just needs to be patient and things will happen, and thus provide valuable information on what is going on in the world these days. And my interpretation of the events will unfortunately not be in line with most others, including from the alternative media. However, that's not all bad, as it allows me to filter out most alternative media accounts not being worth listening to anymore, saving me valuable time. As said, there were a million odd things happening that day, making the sequence of events and how they're widely interpreted immensely unlikely, or improbable, or nearly impossible. To mention just a few of those many red flags, I will first look at the main video clip of the shooting of Trump standing at the podium.
That's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's...
So he turns to the right because he's reading something off from a chart, so we cannot see his right ear when it's being shot.
Take a look at what happened.
So when he touches his ear, we cannot see blood on his hand. Also, the resolution is very low. We just see his movement and need to infer that he was shot. I also have not seen any videos from the audience behind, and likely will never see any. As the shot came from the side, presumably here from the left, flying mostly parallel to the podium, we also don't see anyone right behind him being shot. Apparently the person being shot and the two wounded was far to the right, unless the bullet came from the right, and then it would have happened on that side.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Furthermore, he touches his ear at the same time as the second shot can be heard. Technically, it's a supersonic bullet, so he should touch his ear before hearing the shot, but we are talking fractions of a second here. He's not really looking at his hand to see whether there's blood.
Take a look at what happened.
Also now he moves his fingers, which would be a symbol for testing if there's something wet on his hand. If he had seen blood, I would imagine he would have panicked. There seems to be also predictive programming going on through the audience and him. So here we see the signs, you are fired.
If you want to really see something,
If you want to really see something, also what he's saying, he's drawing attention for people to pay attention.
Take a look at what happened.
Take a look what happened. This primes the audience to pay attention and to make the shooting appear more plausible. There's congruency which helps the mind to process information, words, signs, and then the bullet and hand movement all fit together.
Really see something that said, take a look what happened.
We see also that guy not responding, and when he looks, he even looks with a delay. He's not ducking down. So there's something special about that guy somehow. Note also, to be grazed by a bullet is statistically nearly impossible. He was touched by the bullet just enough to apparently have bled, but a few millimeters closer to his head, his ear and skin would have blown off with massive bleeding. And a few millimeters more, his skull would have been penetrated by the bullet. On the other hand, a few millimeters further away from his head and nothing at all would have happened. The probability for such a specific event is practically zero. Okay, let's look at a longer version of this clip.
Take a look what happened.
So that continues a few seconds more. So the Secret Service covers him from behind for almost 1 minute, and from the front there's a banner. Yeah? Hence we don't see Trump for almost a whole minute. Now he appears with blood on his ear and face. And we see his face and fist, but only because there's a short woman. Yeah, we only see his face and fist because there's a short woman in front of him, which caused a lot of anger due to her incompetence. Then we get her incompetence demonstrated shortly afterwards. So here you saw it. Her incompetence is demonstrated because her glasses seem to be moving and she needs to take them off. Later she cannot get her gun back in the holster too, at the car. On social media this caused uproar against women and quota getting women into jobs they are not physically qualified to do. This whole scene has many elements of how a magic trick works. And the perspective of the audience or camera are key. Trump is out of sight. First no blood, then he gets up and there's blood. Second, there's a huge distraction. No one pays attention as bullets are flying and people duck down, worrying about their own lives. Also in magic tricks, the audience is distracted, sometimes simply by a beautiful assistant. There's technically no proof the bullet hit him and caused the bleeding. As he was turned away, the audience had to fill in the gaps from the movement and sounds it sees and hears. Many won't like this, but in my opinion, and I'm quite certain, fake blood was added while ducked down for 1 minute. And this stunt costs the life of one in the audience. Trump effectively killed one and injured 2 more. The guy who unleashed the vaccine on millions or billions and has a son-in-law whose company has house number 666 on 5th Avenue in Manhattan, completely exposed himself to the world, to anyone who wants to pay attention, can see clearly and connect the dots. Such a trick would require immense rehearsing. Let's look at a couple.
There's no setup at all, and here's what it looks like. It can be done with any coin, no setup, any hands, I guess. Here's what it looks like. I'm gonna take the coin in the hand, snap my fingers, and when I do, the coin magically disappears and you are end totally clean. There's nothing in your hand.
So finally, I wanted to look at the interview of a medic or someone with medical training who was nearby and helped the person who was shot.
What did you see, sir?
I heard the shots. I thought it was firecrackers to begin with. Somebody over there was screaming, he's been shot, he's been shot. So I made my way over. I said, I'm an emergency department physician. Let me help you. The guy had spun around, was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here. There was lots of blood, and he had brain matter there.
So it's interesting, he raises his chin because he has to take all his strengths to get through this interview, but he looks away a lot. So he's clearly in shock. He speaks a bit erratic. He's under severe stress. He has red eyes. He avoids the interviewer by turning left and right and looking down. That's due to grief. Maybe he feels guilt and exhaustion as well. There's clearly sadness as well.
And so I got him.
So, you know, his mouth corners are going down.
There's a helicopter coming in to get him. I got people there.
He closes his eyes from exhaustion. He wants to be somewhere else. He also turtles. You know, his shoulders are very high up. His head is down. That's a sign of resignation, again, of wanting to be somewhere different, wanting to be smaller. Yeah, he's clearly exhausted. So to me, the body language of this guy is absolutely convincing. So someone really died, mixing illusion with reality and death. It's like a satanic blood sacrifice which happened. Interestingly also, no one was shot directly in the background behind Trump, which would have distracted from the Trump triumph. In fact, we have not heard much about the victims. No acknowledgements really in any way, all about narcissist Trump. So in summary, with this risky move by the deep state and how this event played out and Trump triumphing in the spotlight, there's no doubt in my mind that this was all a setup, that Democrats and Republicans are all one, that they are part of the deep state and play out theater for the masses. Also, only a few will be on the inside and hold the strings and know what's going on. You can also see this with Biden recently. They let him debate and then are outraged about his performance, but anyone watching him for the last few years would know that he is not well, unless it's all just played. Think about it. How can the mass media turn on him when they followed him around and observed him day in, day out? There are also positives of the assassination spectacle. It exposed nicely fake controlled opposition, as many quickly endorsed Donald Trump and helped spin the narrative. The list is very long, but it includes Elon Musk, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, who predicted this, and hence is clearly on the inside, but also most alternative German channels. Following any such channels is a waste of time, at least for me, and the next few months should be used wisely. The confusion and heated debate on social media is part of the hybrid war against the people. Some near future predictions. First, no video will surface recorded by anyone behind the podium, showing how Trump's ear started bleeding before coming down. Unless it's a deep fake, of course. No one will trace out the flight path of the bullet which shot the man in the audience. My prediction is that Trump will not be near the line connecting the alleged shooter and the victim, showing that Trump was never really in danger. It's also possible that the man in the audience was actually shot by someone else from a completely different angle. And third, like the Simpson forecast, Trump will likely be fake assassinated right before or during the election, getting by default senile Biden re-elected. That's also why he will continue running against Trump. That's why the assassination attempt was important, to rally more people behind him, making him the savior. People will be immensely disappointed when he's not elected. They will feel cheated with the economy diving and military conflicts on the horizon. As a result, riots and ultimately civil war will break out. The ultimate escalation will start next year, I would imagine, likely in summer, unless people start understanding and let go. I suggest again to use these next few months very wisely, making every day count. With this, I say thank you for listening. Hope you got something out of it, and I'm looking forward to your comments, as usual. And I talk to you next time. Bye.